One common objection brought forward by atheists is that science has never provided any evidence for God's existence. Now we have to make a differentiation. There are two kinds of science. One is operational science and the other is historical science. Operational science deals with different questions than historical sciences. That is, the questions are, for example, when we see a protein, the scientist asks, what does that protein perform and how does it do it? Now, that question permits only natural explanations. Bringing a supernatural power into the picture as a possible explanation would mean that science permits miracles to explain natural phenomena, and that is clearly equivocated. Now, in regards of historical sciences, the picture is different. Historical sciences ask, how did a certain phenomena come to be? And there are a whole set of different faculties dealing with these questions. That is, history, archaeology, paleontology, evolutionary biology, abiogenesis, astrophysics, astronomy, and so forth. And there, the question about how certain things came to be, how do we explain historical events, in regards of that question, we can actually infer that a creator was involved. Now, there are two possible explanations. One is that an intelligent designer created the universe and everything in it. And the other explanation is that natural causes explain the phenomena. And the unfortunate thing is that modern science applies the same philosophical framework to both questions and to both faculties. And supernatural explanations are as well not permitted into historical sciences. That means that a scientist, when he starts his investigation, he has only natural explanations permitted. That means that whatever the evidence leads to, it always has to be a natural explanation. And that is, in my view, an arbitrary restriction which is not meaningful. It should be permitted the evidence to lead wherever it is. Now, in regards of history, we cannot come to answers which prove that the causes were natural or supernatural. What we can do, however, is to come to abductive explanations, to using abductive reasoning. That means that we conclude an explanation based on the best inference, the best explanations based on the evidence. That's basically Bayesian reasoning. So the framework of methodological naturalism applied to historical sciences is clearly flawed. And that is the reason why we never see science papers pointing to a designer as the best explanation. And that is something that has started about 150 years ago with the so-called X Club, with Huxley and the Royal Society. And they started to exclude creationism and supernatural explanations from the scientific endeavor. And that is the reason why we never find science pointing to a creator or an intelligent designer. That does not mean, however, that when we look into historical events, that design is not the best explanation. Actually, when we permit design inferences and then look into nature, then in my view it is clearly seen that design is the best explanation. But as long as modern science does not permit that explanation, we will never see a science paper permitting to point to God or an intelligent designer.